Yeah, so first of all, thank you very much for having me here. My name is Sheriff Rollout, and I'm a clinical urologist and surgeon scientist here at the University of Dresden. And I hope that after this session we can all agree that Therionix AI is going to be your new oncologic decision-making system. So modern oncology is getting more and more complex. So nowadays patients come with a vast amount of data. So there is textual data, there's imaging data, and even more recently genomic data. And all this data has to be integrated into a custom-tailored decision for every patient. And this is done in so-called multidisciplinary tumor boards. And we know from studies that these tumor boards, they actually save lives. So they improve outcomes. However, they require expertise, time, and resources that many hospitals do not have in Germany. Furthermore, tumor boards are under pressure due to time constraints, data overload, and availability in our country. So when we take a look at the map in Germany, we see that most tumor boards are concentrated in areas with clinical centers and comprehensive cancer centers. And these centers are usually in densely populated areas of the country. So we have a huge amount of regions in Germany that are not covered by these tumor boards. We also know that around 10%, and that's a very conservative estimate, of medical decisions are either false or suboptimal due to lack of expertise. And in Germany, around 50% of hospitals do not have multidisciplinary tumor boards. So we believe that access to expert tumor board decisions should not be dependent on where a patient lives. So our solution is Therionix AI. So this system is going to be trained on multimodal medical data from our institution. Currently, that's just textual data, but in the future, we plan to train it with pathology and even with genomics. And this algorithm then creates a custom-tailored treatment recommendation for every patient. So Therionix brings expert-level oncology decision support to every hospital instantly, in real time. So how does it work? So the algorithm is based on next-generation AI, and this is trained via a technology that's called supervised fine-tuning. Currently, we are using around 12,000 tumor board reports to train the algorithm, and in the future, we plan to expand this to MRI, CT, and other imaging modalities, pathology, and even genomics. And what we also do is we use up-to-date medical guidelines in a database, and using a technology called RAC, the algorithm has access to the most recent algorithm guidelines and can then create a custom-tailored recommendation for every patient. Of course, we do have competition. However, the main competition are commercially available large language models like ChatGPT. Honestly, there should not be a competition at all because there's data privacy issues, but I know from my experience, of course, many doctors do use them. There's also the T2 2.0 system from the University of Mainz, which is a similar approach. However, they use traditional machine learning. They don't use next generation deep learning as we do. And of course, there's physical tumor boards. However, they are not a real competition since we do not plan to compete with physical tumor boards rather than augment them using this AI technology. So our unique selling points is we do have real-world data from our institution, which is one of the largest institutions in urology in Germany. We plan to use multimodal fusion, and we have up-to-date guidelines, which the algorithm has access to. And the models we use and fine-tune are all open source. So the licenses all guarantee that we can commercially use the algorithms. So they are all open source algorithms, and we have our real-world data set, which is protected from our institution. So the Therionix AI, our main customers will be hospitals and oncology centers, and the users obviously will be tumor boards and physicians for now, but in the future we plan to expand this to smaller hospitals as well as private practices. So every doctor has access to this algorithm. And the product will be basically a cloud-based SaaS product, so a software as a service, which will be hopefully cleared as a software as a medical device, and it will be run on a data privacy secured cloud system within the European Union to guarantee data privacy in Germany. So our main asset is our team. So I'm proud to be the lead of this wonderful group. And one thing in our group is that all of our members for now are medical doctors, but they also are experts in AI. So they are trained in both. And Marcus, for example, is a clinician surgeon like I am, but he's also an expert in AI, as well as Lucy Telemann, who will help us to run the multi-center studies in the future, starting with Leipzig and Dresden. And there's Carl Lewis, who is actually a computer scientist who just decided to also go to medical school, and he just passed his exam 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so that's great. And we also have strong advisory support by the Dresden Axis and the EKFC Digital Health here in Dresden and the National Center for Tumor Diseases in Germany. So the roadmap for the next 2 years will be to lay the foundation of the model and make sure that the model runs perfectly and the performance is sufficient. And the next step will be clinical validation, starting here in Dresden and then in Leipzig, and then hopefully in other centers as well. And as the final goal will be MDR CE certification as a Class 2A multimodal pipeline as a medical device. And we plan market entry around 2027 in the DACH countries. We start with our urology tumors, but of course we believe that this is also interesting for other tumor entities, and we plan to expand the algorithm to other fields of medicine as well. And finally, we do the scaling within the European Union, hopefully, and we will have full multimodal integration. And the long-term goal of this is not to be just a decision support tool for tumor boards, but to be an actual decision-making support system in medicine in general. So join us in bringing expert-level cancer care to every hospital, and we are preparing for pre-seed funding and clinical pilot collaborations, and are looking forward to working with you in the future. Thank you very much.